Alright. It looks like we're up on Twitch. YouTube seems to need a minute. Refresh the page. There we go. I'm up on YouTube. Okay. Good, good. And now we wait. Gonna give it, 5 or 10 minutes before we get started. That way it gives everybody a chance to come in if they want to come in early. It also gives you a few minutes to make your lists of stuff to keep track of.
There's no way I would be able to make all the lists that I need in like 10 minutes.
Well, like I said, at least you don't have to worry about rings. That's New Game Plus. Because that done gave y'all the rings you need from the first cycle. How we doing over on the Twitbird?
Okay. That was weird.
Yeah?
I launched Dark Souls 3, and then Dark Souls 3 closed, and so did Steam.
Aha.
That didn't make sense.
Alright. Well, 'tis what it is. Dash is over here putting Lucy titties in the server, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. The instruction at 0x000007FF6570F3613 reference memory at 0x tons of zeros 10. The memory could not be written. Click on OK to terminate the program.
What?
I don't know.
This is when you did what?
I launched Dark Souls 3.
Okay. Make sure that you've completely quit Steam. And then try again.
It seems to have closed Steam on its own again.
Okay. So if you hit the little up arrow on your system tray, and then you...
Yeah, it's not there.
Okay. I'll relaunch Steam.
That is literally what I did just a second ago.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. I've had it happen with Oblivion, where I needed to relaunch Steam. I don't know. Windows gonna Windows. 11 is better than 10, but it's not saying much. We're still on Windows.
Okay. Seems fixed now.
Yeah, it does that sometimes.
This is the first time that it's happened to me since converting to 11.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious just how sensitive this microphone is because, like, I don't have a bathroom door up here, but, like, I'm curious, like, if you could hear that clearly from that far away. That's crazy. It's like this. I mean, the sync obviously runs a little bit louder, but I don't know, crazy.
You will need to give me a second. I think. So I tried to download the like Lucy image thing, and now it's just kind of stuck.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't use that window of the browser.
Uh-huh. Well, Killbrave. Tippy is in the chat, says, "Hello there, glad to finally make it after all this time. In the words of one Obi-Wan Kenobi, hello there." Oh my god, we went in Family Dollar the other day, and I wanted to. There was a sign that just said "hello there," and I wanted to get it, and then like take a thing of Ewan McGregor and just stick it on top. Alas, I did not. But that also reminds me of when we went to Hobby Lobby a while back. There was this thing. It was like verses of the week. It was supposed to be like a Bible thing or whatever. And I wanted to. I didn't do it, but I wanted to get it and then put like verses from metal songs on it. So, you know, like some Slipknot, like Disaster Piece, like, I want to slit your throat and lock the wound. I want to push my face in and feel the swoon. You know, all that shit, you know. It's like... It's like, this week's verse is, dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dragula. I don't know, I love subversive humor. Blasphemy in particular just tickles me. Yep. We are at 9 minutes there, Boyish. You getting about ready?
Yeah, I just had to reopen GeForce Experience because apparently it closed.
Delightful. Well, about 30 seconds we're going to start.
No, it's not that somehow... Well, I guess it did close, but for some reason the in-game overlay got turned off.
That's cute.
That should fix it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Please work correctly. Oh, that is delightful.
You good?
I'm going to restart the game and hopefully I can open the overlay in the game this time.
Oh, fun.
Because every time I pressed Alt-Z, it took me to the desktop.
Oh, great.
These past few days have had, like, lots of technical issues.
Yeah. That they have. All right. Well, I'll give it a couple.
Okay, now I'm loading.
Okay.
In.
All right.
So.
I'm.
Yeah, I got the first bonfire
Okay.
at the undead settlement.
Okay. So,
Worst iteration of the area in the trilogy.
yeah. Log in. Let's see. Tippy says, I'm glad that animation styles in movies are starting to get more creative with Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots.
I still haven't seen Puss in Boots. If I'm gonna watch that, I might as well just rewatch, like, Shrek everything plus the original Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember the last time I saw the first Puss in Boots movie or anything Shrek related.
Yeah.
All I know is that Shrek 3 sucks.
I think I saw the first two and that was it. Like I've never seen anything else in the series.
Everyone likes Shreks 1 and 2. Everyone hates Shrek 3. Shrek 4 had a mixed reception.
Okay. So Foot of the High Wall or Undead Settlement?
Foot of the High Wall.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, no, it's there is some kind of positive momentum going on in at least theatrical animation. My sign is down. I gotta say, TV animation is pretty much dead. Everything.
Honestly, I utterly detest everything that's like Disney DC animation related. It always looks so squeaky clean and just garbage.
Yeah, I will say, The Ghost and Molly McGee on Disney Plus is really fun. Like, that's a good show. Let's see. Tippy says you don't need to watch any other Shrek related production or the first Puss in Boots movie to enjoy Last Wish.
That's not really the point, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, as far as
from what little I have seen of it from like trailers and stuff, I got the impression that the Last Wish is supposed to be like the end of his arc or whatever.
Okay.
I will say that I will never watch Lightyear because apparently it's just complete garbage.
Yeah, I never cared enough to really look into it. Yeah, a lot of what's coming out nowadays as far as animation goes, I don't know. It's just like look at Cartoon Network, right? It ever since like 2008, there's been this gradual decline towards just the cheapest possible productions they can get away with. Like Adventure Time and Regular Show and all these other... come on, we're getting invaded. And just everything now is like bean-mouth sitcoms, and that's basically it. See, that was a direct hit. He should have taken damage there. Gotta love the pro-invader bias in these games. Olive! Hey there, buddy. You did catch this one. How are we? We're getting by. How about you? Bullshit, he was... You're good? Good. Hello, Grinch. Oh, jeez. You got this Dark Sword spamming fuck nugget. Let's see. Olive says 1 a.m., so I'll probably head to bed soon enough. That's okay. Appreciate you coming by.
Dude, that's fucking bullshit.
Well, I got him. Oh, God. That was stupid.
Somehow that's weird. I don't know what happened on his screen. I got a Dark Spirit destroyed.
Because I killed him.
Before I died, so I got souls.
Okay, then.
I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, I guess it still counted me killing him. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, but yeah, like what I was saying about, like, everything nowadays is just, like, super cheap, flash animated, bean mouth sitcom bullshit. It's like, that's why things like the Ghost and Molly McGee or like Hell of a Boss, they're so refreshing because they break away from that and they do something actually, worthwhile. They're actually funny. They're actually clever.
Yeah, I think like I think like the Amazing World of Gumball and Regular Show had their moments. I honestly could not for the life of me ever get into Adventure Time. I think like Adventure Time in particular shaped a change in the industry that was for the worse.
Definitely. Yeah, that was kind of the start of all the bean mouth bullshit. Like, everything now uses that same fucking art style, and it's cancer. But yeah, let's see. Tippy says that TV animation has been going downhill, especially Cartoon Network's. Gone are the days of the Ben 10 Classic and Generator Rex. Now we have Teen Titans Go and other bad reboots like Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, I mean, Teen Titans Go, it can definitely be legitimately funny. I have seen some bits of it where it was like getting genuine laughs out of me. But as a replacement for the original, I don't think so. Then again, I also don't trust the modern landscape to do proper revivals of old products because it's like, what are they going to do? Poison them with modern ideology? Like, that's not fun. That's not worth it. I'd rather something die with dignity, even if it was premature, than become a shell of its former self and just shamble around as a rotting corpse to pilot somebody's ideology around. It's just, no. Yeah, so I always get kind of iffy on these... retro revival things for that reason. I was a little concerned about Power Rangers Once and Always, not so much like from a perspective of like wokeness or whatever creeping in, but just because Power Rangers hasn't been good since the Disney era, So I'm just like, ugh. But thankfully it was pretty good. My only real complaint was some of the CG, but Dash says Teen Titans Go became more enjoyable when it became self-aware. Yeah. Some of the meta humor was really like where it peaked. I remember in the movie there was like a Stan Lee cameo, even though that's a DC property. And so I forget the line, but it was pretty funny. Tippy says, I love Gumball's animation. It was so creative in its art and animation. I don't blame Adventure Time for the current art all that much, but it did start a trend of weaker art styles. Dash says, I love the original Teen Titans, but I don't want it to be brought back in that state. Yeah. Tippy says, Dash, Teen Titans Go is spiteful towards its viewers, and I don't blame people for hating it. No, that's true. Teen Titans Go sometimes can take a joke. Other times, they're very like defensive about any criticism they get, and it's not a good look. Yeah, it's far from perfect. I wouldn't be surprised if this current era of cartoons has also contributed to the rise in diagnoses of things like ADHD. Because if kids are being conditioned nowadays to have this constant overstimulation of information with the internet and high velocity, just mile a minute cartoons that are just all about the spastic comedy, and it's like that has to have some kind of an impact on development, So I'm not going to sit there and say that it's definitely true, but it makes me raise an eyebrow,
I think there have been studies for this kind of thing specifically for like social media, especially certain platforms like TikTok. Like, I gotta be honest, like Dash, if you really care about improving your attention span, you gotta cut TikTok completely out of your life. Like,
yeah,
it is literally one of the platforms designed to like
manipulate that kind of
your
thing.
attention span.
Yeah, it's literally designed around creating an addiction to short form content that just oof. Oh, okay. I was about to fireball it, and then you were just like, nope, poke. It's a little hard to see in here with windowed mode.
I actually forgot to change my brightness down all the way to the lowest level. Why do I do this? There it is. I don't know why this isn't part of the graphic settings.
You uninstalled
much better looking.
Uninstalled TikTok a few days back. That's good. Definitely a change for the
positive.
No. Not to mention it's literally CCP spyware, so became boring and repetitive. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like it's designed to basically generate content addiction. You get that little burst of like dopamine when you see something new, and then you expect it to be rapid fire, and then what happens is your brain gets used to it, and then so you need more and more and more, but then it can't provide anymore because it's already at such a fast pace. Well, now what's going to happen? You're going to get bored of it, right? So it's definitely problematic in more ways than one. Let's see. Yeah, and it eats at your time a lot. Not speaking of TikTok exactly, but YouTube Shorts. I suppose it's not that much different overall. Yeah, I have like completely ignored the existence of YouTube Shorts.
I watch some occasionally that like interest me, but I don't consume them that commonly. I usually watch actual videos. Sometimes shorts are interesting, like, and then other times they're just like MMD dances of like Genshin Impact characters.
I still way prefer long form content, like podcasts and long in-depth videos, things like that.
As long as it isn't like insanely dry,
yeah,
then
too dry.
I like putting I like doing that with like long form content because it's something I can just put in the background and listen to while I do like long activities like grinding.
Yeah.
So short form content doesn't really do that for me because it takes longer to do the activities than to finish the video.
Because there's more tabbing out and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. So.
Of course, I also prefer it when there's actual substance.
Yeah.
To the long content instead of 5.5 hours of someone trying and failing to prove that Kingdom Hearts 3 is a bad game, only to then pull out the opinion excuse at the end of the video.
Ugh, hate that. Let's see. Tippy
That
said...
that video was such a massive waste of my time.
Oh, yeah. At that juncture, to not feel like I wasted my time, I would completely disregard the opinion comment and be like, no, motherfucker, you committed. You know, you don't get to pull that shit. Let's see. Grinch says, here, bro. Dash says, I'm generally very picky about the social platforms I install. I literally only use Instagram and Twitter, and that's it. Yeah. And Tippy said, current reboots is something I'm glad that Gravity Falls ended and never came back. That show ended on its own terms and came out better for it, even if some things were a bit quicker in season 2's second half. Yeah, no, Gravity Falls was great. I really liked that one. I love reading chat while I've got this broad firing maggots at me. Okay. Let's see. Jeff's video analysisation was about an hour long and it felt like a slog regardless. Yep. Yep. It was not a pleasant experience.
Speaking of that 5.5 hour video, one of the things that they said in, like, their response to what I said, just kind of complaining about the video, was that the reason I thought the video was garbage was because I wasn't listening to what it said, even though the reason I put it on in the first place
was to listen to what it said?
Because I wanted to... Yeah, because exploring in Genshin Impact is a brainless activity. I wanted to give my brain something to do.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know what that yell was about. Hodrick! Yeah, it doesn't help that Jeff is just an insufferable person to begin with. So when he puts out an hour-long video, it's like, oh my god, end me.
Oh. Okay, I was ready to parry him, and I equipped my Hornet Ring.
Forbidden Sun, dead.
I am going to go back up and try for the jump again.
Have fun. There's also a dead lizard here. Oh yeah, we gotta not do the tree.
Yeah.
Hello. Pretty much anyone... Grinch says, pretty much anyone who makes an hour-long video pointing out how something is bad without proper arguments is annoying. Like, do something better with your life. I agree.
Yeah, one thing that I've grown to... honestly, I find people like Jeff or Bloody Biscuits to be more tolerable themselves than I do their fans. One thing you'll notice with all the people that, like, unironically think that those kinds of videos that these people make are good is that they have exceptionally low standards for like what they believe to be valid arguments for things that they already want to believe, but they have impossibly high standards for the opposite, and it's so annoying.
Yes, oh my god. It's true. And like they don't think for themselves, but their criteria is just completely biased. And it's like, what the fuck?
And of course, I've literally been accused of only not liking Bloody Biscuits because he says bad things about the games that I like. And it's just like, no. I used to be a fan of his. Guess what won out when I started thinking critically?
Exactly. See, Dash says, the core problem with Jeff is that he's got a seriously inflated ego and believes he's above the rest when he's arguably just as normie as a lot of others. Yeah, that's definitely true. He's also a huge grifter. He's just not an honest person. Like, he's the type of guy who will say anything for money. Let's see. Grinch says, I just watched him for his Kingdom Hearts 2 rando runs. Those were funny. I used to watch Bloody Biscuits back in, like, 10th grade. Back when he was doing his Great Mighty Poop Conker's Bad Fur Day playthrough. So, like, we were both, like, kids at the time. And I forget what exactly sparked it off, but I think I left a comment on one of his videos at one point. And it was just like, it was either very, very mildly critical or just kind of like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And he just fucking went off on me. He could not take someone not being in complete lockstep with him. And this was like, so we got into this beef, and it just like, so I swore, same with like the Archfiend and Brental Floss. They were so fragile in their egos that I was just like, no, you know what, you're an asshole, I'm done with you.
Yeah, every single, there's like, inevitably in every video that Bloody Biscuits makes that's quote-unquote critical or whatever, or a quote-unquote discussion, he always does something that completely destroys, like, whatever faith I had in him to argue in good faith. Because he always pulls out some kind of, like, obvious, like, straw man when he addresses quote-unquote counterpoints. And it's if you actually read between the lines and the behavior, like the inflections and the body language,
yep,
it's an obvious straw man, and it's really annoying.
Yeah. I literally have not watched one of his videos since like 2009, so I don't I don't know, but I
you will lose brain cells if you play the actual games and then you listen to the shit that he says. You will lose brain cells, I promise.
Oh boy. Oh, my favorite. Let's see. Dash says, some people uphold content creators as gods who can determine the quality of any piece of media and believes everyone who disagrees with them are brainlets who can't accept the truth, i.e. projection. Correct. And that, by the way, and I can never be clear enough about this, nobody ever do that with me, for the love of God, please. That is the opposite of what I want. That is the opposite of what I encourage people to do in my videos, and defeats the entire purpose of my videos. Because my videos are there to teach critical thinking and lead by example.
It's literally, like, it is one of the most common things I've noticed with Kingdom Hearts 2 fans is that they are... Okay, let me just... The amount of intelligence and maturity that Kingdom Hearts 2 fans have could basically be summarized as, everyone who disagrees with me about the super bosses is a trash player who doesn't want to learn and just wants to mindlessly mash buttons. That... Like, they literally cannot accept any criticism of any of the super bosses that they like or think are good, and will only ever accept anything critical of the bosses they don't like. And if you disagree with them, they will do one of two things. They'll either use a bunch of, like, ad hominem character attacks, or they will blue screen and not understand how someone who's good at the game could possibly criticize the bosses.
Yep. Oh, Dash, how long has he been complaining about Kingdom Hearts fans for? I started a little tally mark system a couple of years ago, and that chalkboard has grown beyond human comprehension. Let's see. Grinch says, I mean, you're allowed to give your opinion given the proper arguments, or you can just give a simple I don't like it, and that's fine, but you definitely can't go out of your way and exaggerate what you don't like or insult those who enjoy it and things like that. Well, along those lines, you know, there's a difference between subjective preference and objective quality, right? If you just don't like something and you have valid reasons to not like it because something that's true about it just doesn't click with you, by all means, that's fine. Taste is entirely personal. You know, there's nothing wrong with not preferring something, right? But when you make a false statement as the basis for your assertion of preference, well, now you're getting into more objective territory. Well, you may have misjudged it, and so your preference is in question because the reason you hold that preference is not valid, right? So if someone says, well, Sword Art Online is racist and transphobic, it's like, well, what? Right? Why? How is that the case? Demonstrate, prove it, right? And if that's the reason you don't like it, then you're wrong. You know, it's fine if you still don't like it after coming to terms with reality, but come to terms with reality first. You know, actually have a valid position to stand on, right? So there's that. And then again, like qualitative, you know, if you're going to make a qualitative assessment, that's not an opinion. You know, you have to actually bring facts to the table. Ow. I'm just kind of tooling around while you do your collecting stuff, and I'm talking.
Yeah, I will always remember Detenshi J. Like, he unironically told me when I, like, really called him out for his extremely toxic behavior. Like, I don't remember the exact wording, and it would probably take a long time for me to sift through all of my screenshots of everything he said to me.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically said that to me that the way you put people on the straight and narrow is by, like, abusing them.
No.
Like, just constant verbal abuse, because that's the only way you correct people.
No, no. What?
It was literally his justification for calling me things that my corporate overlords will not allow me to say on a stream.
Oh my god. Let's see. So
I can only assume that that this person must be like some kind of stupid fucking Zoomer because of their behavior, and also just the fact that like they're like obviously like a new YouTube channel, and I guess they just happened upon Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden. And by the way, I'm sorry if I know this sounds not correct, but if you unironically believe that Ninja Gaiden has good combat, you don't have any taste.
Yeah,
Ninja Gaiden fucking sucks. Like, it's so bad that, like, even the people who think, a lot of the people in the community who think that it has great combat fully acknowledge that the games are bullshit. Like, it's there's so much cognitive dissonance that is required there, but, like,
yeah.
Like, if you unironically think that Ninja Gaiden even compares, it could ever be considered a good game, you need to play more games.
I need to go back and play Ninja Gaiden again, because it's been too
I
long.
was playing it the other day, and it fucked up my left analog stick, which is already kind of fucked up.
That's
but,
cute.
Yeah.
So let's see. Dash says more times than I've complained about SAO haters. Yeah. Let's see. Grinch says, well, for example, I've started ReZero, and so far it's not clicking with me. I can't exactly explain why. It's just not. But I haven't finished yet, so who knows? Right, and that's perfectly reasonable. If it's just not doing it for you.
I love not being able to get backstabs just because their ankle is like a couple inches above my position.
Right. But you can see why people like it so much. Yeah, no, like that's the thing. Like I can see how people might like One Piece. I don't. I tried, and literally the first instant that Luffy was on screen in episode 1, I wanted to slit my throat. He was so annoying. So, and this was in both languages. So I was just like, no thanks. And not to mention, I don't like the art style. Half of the fucking people look like thumbs. It's weird. That's an exaggeration, but anyway. Let's see. Dash says, I swear there was an implication in Jeff's Progressive Volume 1 video that the series was transphobic because Ricky didn't add any trans characters in Aincrad. Oh my lord. It's been a few years since I watched that video, but I remember it not being great despite him being somewhat positive towards the book. Tippy...
you need to come down here into the sewer with me. Protect me.
Okay.
Because we just got invaded.
Oh, great. That's fucking delightful. I hear... Yep. That little orphan Annie. God damn it. This fucker again. Excuse me. Eat shit. I fucking hate invaders. They're just not people. They don't have human rights. Anyway,
I guess you could put your son down. Your son.
My sign down at that other
your
bonfire.
sign down at the. I'm back at the. I opened the shortcut, so.
Cliff underside or dilapidated bridge?
Dilapidated bridge, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, because if you just popped out of the sewer, then that's the closest bonfire. And my sign is down. Tippy says, I never played Ninja Gaiden, but I heard the NES games are hard as hell. I used save states to beat them. So...
You know, the Ninja Gaiden games, like... Let me put it this way. When they're difficult, they're only so because they're extremely unfair and poorly designed. And when they're not being difficult, they're honestly some of the most laughably easy action games I've ever played once you figured out the basics.
Tippy also...
Like, even I'm playing on hard mode, like, on my, I guess, first full playthrough, which isn't even recommended. Like, I think this is a specific recommendation is that you play on the easiest difficulty first,
Ninja
which
Dog.
is the lowest one, and then you work your way up. And it... Oh, is that a whip?
Yeah. This is that same fucker from last night. Let's see. Tippy says also there's stuff I haven't clicked for, stuff that hasn't clicked for me in like Pokemon. Try a few games and never loved it. Yeah, Pokemon. I mean, it also I think depends on what Pokemon games you're starting with, because the newer ones are not good. Fuck off. Dude, fuck off. Just disconnect on his ass. Ugh, not being able to block these fuckers. Yeah, not being able to block these fuckers on PC is fucking stupid. Let's see.
Weapon arts were a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much stupid, cheap bullshit with weapon arts in this game.
PvP not being opt-in was a mistake. Let's see. Dash says, I think ReZero is a fine series in itself, even if it doesn't click with me either. Tippy says, I heard that ReZero was pretty good. Need to watch more series after finishing Dragon Ball Awful, though its filler episodes between Black and Tournament of Power range from fine to solid. Yeah, I mean, Super had its moments, but by and large, it was just a trash fire. Dash says, I started with Gen 5, and I don't regret it in the slightest. You can really tell Game Freak put a lot of effort into the story for Black and White, and by extension, Black 2 and White 2. Yeah, no, Gen 5 was really good. 4 and 5 were the peak of the series. It had a rough start. It started to really get its footing in Gen 3. Not being opt-in was a mistake. No, it's true. Fucking PvP is cancer in these games. I hate it.
I have this inkling suspicion that, or actually no, because in this game they can just use bonfires to do it on the travel menu to show where co-op is happening. That was a mistake too, I think.
Oh, you think this?
In Elden Ring, especially.
Yeah.
being shown like where a host of embers is on like your travel menu, or in like Elden Ring, you can press a button while opening the map and you'll know where co-op and invasions are currently happening.
Yeah, it's... Ugh.
That made things a lot easier for invaders.
Yeah. Did I... Okay, my sign is not down. I'm in my world. And I can't quit the game. Guess what?
Unable to summon Phantom. Did you alt F4?
Yeah, because I thought I was being invaded. I never killed the Greatwood.
Oh, let me spend this time trying to find the specific image I was talking about before, because we were talking about this abusive fucker. No, I think I would be in documents, video responses. I still haven't worked on it. Oh god, I don't remember which one.
Let's see. Tippy says, I started at Gen 5 Black 2 and I couldn't get through much of it before dropping it. Dash says, I even think the Gen 5 anime was quite enjoyable even with its issues. Whoops, I forgot to lag in. Hold that thought. So I think part of the problem may have been starting with a sequel game. As far as you go, Tippy. I think if you went back and started with one of the first games in Gen 5, you'd have a better time. That or Heart Gold Soul Silver, fantastic games. Platinum, also fantastic. Yeah. Or like, I think Boyish actually went back and started with Gen 1, and he was enjoying it. So there are definitely some options if you want to go back and enjoy Pokemon. As far as the Gen 5 anime goes, I'm kind of iffy. There are aspects of it that I did like. What really bugged me was just the way they gave Ash a lobotomy. It just was like, what? Let's see, Grinch says, didn't Bandai also make the SAO games? Why couldn't they make it as good as Dark Souls? Yeah. No, that's true. Bamco is also behind the Sword Art games. And Gameverse is terrible. Dash says, to fully appreciate Black White 2, you need to play the first games. That's true. Tippy says, I also had series I liked not clicking with people like Ben 10 with this guy called Low Art. I remember I've heard of him. I remember seeing his first video and thought it was meh. I think, he was the one with the Full Metal Alchemist videos, I think, right? Dash says Black and White 2 are still insanely good, arguably the best games in the series. They're definitely up there. Grinch says, as someone who watched all of Pokemon in one go, Gen 5 anime was not very good. Yeah, I kind of fell out of love with the anime in Gen 4. There was just so much filler, and I wasn't really digging the new art style, or the new voice cast, so I was like, nah, I think I'm done for a while. And then Gen 5 was, I still kept up with here and there, like, to see what it was up to, but I wasn't, like, religiously following it like I had all the way through, like, Season 9. Let's see. Dash says, it's like Grinch says, XY anime is awesome, though. I've heard good things about that, yeah. I never finished it, but I have seen some parts of it, and I've heard people say that overall it's really good. When it was first airing on Cartoon Network, I remember just giving up on it very early on because of that Dedenne episode that felt like a short bus version of Dora the Explorer. Dash says, because SAO is a cash cow, a lot of corporations probably won't care about the effort they put into their respective products. Yeah. That's kind of the thing, is that they're just kind of, hey, what can we get out of this for cheap? You know, like they don't care. They just don't. Dash says, I only really dig the books, anime, and some merch. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. And the anime is just as good as the novels. Fucking fight me. My sign do be down.
Where is it? That's the one downside to this. I took screenshots of literally everything he said, and I don't remember which one has it. Ugh. No, I love this guy. There's so many instances where, like, I'd want to call him, like, the nastiest expletives in the book, whether or not they're racist, because he's such a gigantic fucking asshole. Like, this person is why nobody likes Cage 2 fans.
Even Cage 2 fans don't like Cage 2 fans. Cage 2 fans ruining everything. Willy. Gotta love Willy. XY Anime had an insane Team Flare arc, turned one of the most forgettable evil teams in the games into one of the most memorable in the anime. Yeah, I've heard about that. Let's see. Gridge says, I enjoyed Fatal Bullet. Alicization like Chorus was good, but far too long. I have only played some of Hollow Fragment. I have every one of them except for Lycoris. I just never got around to it. Yeah. Let's see. Last Recollection is looking good. We'll see, hopefully. Dash says Hollow Realization has been overwhelmingly meh so far, but there are some nice moments here and there. Yeah. My thing that I noticed that has really made my progress slow, other than not having my PS4 for the last almost 2 years, is just the fact that it's so infuriating to see the characters butchered the way they are. Just the absolute insult to the canon material that is the characterization in these games and the situations that they're put in. It's Gameverse is everything that the brain-rotted hatedom and novel elitists accuse the anime of being. Like, it legitimately pisses me off that much when I'm doing the story parts of Hollow Fragment. Like, the Hollow area stuff is pretty decent. The story with Philia, that I can see that being, in some capacity canon. It doesn't really clash necessarily. There's some parts of it that do, but the actual, like, floor climbing infinity moment content that they rolled into it, oh my god, no thank you. Let's see. Olive says, I think all the games, at least the enjoyment I get out of the ones I played, is how Dash just described Hollow Realization. And then Dash says, is atrocious. Yeah. Yep. Sadly, I don't think we'll ever get a truly good Sword Art Online game. It's been this long. After 10 years, nothing good? Eh. Yeah. While I'm waiting for Boyish, I will be right back. I just gotta run to the bathroom real quick. Okay. Yeah, my I was trying to deal with it, but my mustache was tickling my nose. I had to deal with that. Anyway, let's see. Dash says, and what's worse, some haters unironically believe it's better than the main series. How? Grinch says, I heard they're gonna announce something because of the Gameverse 10th anniversary, I think, like a new project. God, I hope not. Just let it fizzle out, please. Hopefully that they're getting a new creative and writing team. Yeah, seriously, if they're gonna continue it, for the love of God. And why not? I mean, Bamco has the license for the Souls games. Why not commission a Souls-like Sword Art Online game? It would print money. I'd buy it. I hate Gameverse, and I'd buy it. It would be awesome, wouldn't it? Ooh, I should probably put my phone on the charger. There we go. Let's see. Tippy says, something like the SAO games is why I'm kind of glad that licensed games are dying. A lot of licensed games are cheaply made trash. Game versus gameplay is boring as hell from what I've seen. Yeah, Hollow Fragment for me is a keep my hands busy while I'm listening to a podcast kind of game to trophy hunt with. That's about it. Let's see. Grinch says, I did like how they used the games to make crossovers with Persona 5 and Tales. Tippy says, not all licensed games are bad, but a lot of them are. Yeah. I miss the days of movie tie-in games, to be honest with you. A lot of them were not, like, the highest quality, but they were still fun, like the Amazing Spider-Man games. Those were good. You know, there was potential there, you know. They didn't always live up to their potential, but I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Dash says, in Hollow Realization, you can defeat most enemies around your level or slightly higher with literally just one shot. Oh, boy. Boyman guy, what we be doing?
I'm just gonna have to do this later, I think, because I don't remember, like, any of the things where they are. There's so much stupid shit he said. Looking through them again, though, every time I always go back to the fact that he had to constantly strawman me in order to, like, say anything against me. Like...
That tends to be the case.
And of course, he's just, you know, he was just a massive fucking dickhead besides.
Yeah. Dash says, let me rephrase. You can one-shot most enemies around you or slightly higher with just one command. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of how a lot of RPGs work. Like, you have, like, your trash mobs in the general area, and then you have, like, the tougher enemies that you need more resources for. It's more of, like, a classic RPG thing of, like, resource management. The basic enemies throughout a dungeon are very weak and easy to deal with, because the goal is to whittle down your resources as you progress, which will make things harder for when you fight the boss.
Yeah, hang on, let me cook these rats. Nice, 3 for 1. So my thing, like, I can see if you are a higher level one-shotting enemies in an RPG, but if they're the same level as you, I'm not so sure that makes as much sense.
Well, a command, it is my understanding that it's like multiple people in the party using attacks. Isn't that how the combat systems work in those games?
Is it? Let's see. Olive says, Fatal Bullet, you have aimbot, which admittedly is the only way that the game could be playable. I never used aimbot. Grinch says, I never used aimbot and it wasn't bad at all.
I mean, Fatal Bullet has like shooting mechanics, so
Yeah. I'm over here reading chat. I'm kind of not paying attention. Oopsie. In relation to what Boyish said, Dash says, wait, who's this? So, yeah, who's this guy you're talking about?
the Tenshi J guy.
Is that the guy that was, like, throwing shit at you?
A few months ago, yeah, on that one Kingdom Hearts video, called me like, a subhuman with no taste and some words that I can't say on a Twitch stream or on YouTube stream. Accused me of being a woman, quote unquote, because I type like one.
Wow. And even if...
No, that happened. That
even if that made any sense, what would be the problem there?
I also like how he says this in full knowing that I have a masculine username. So
yeah. Midnight Riala over there on the YouTube chat. Hi there.
Of course, apparently, Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden have more lateral decision making than Dark Souls.
Not in my experience, but I'm rusty on both.
It's not really our experience that matters, is it?
Grinch says, what the fuck? Yeah. Riala says, do you definitely have a favorite SAO arc? It's gotta be Alicization for me, but was curious if that's something you thought about. I really do love them all. I would have to say that overall, my favorite is definitely Mother's Rosario. But they're all like those middle three arcs. Fairy Dance, Phantom Bullet, and Mother's Rosario are all very close. Let's see. Tippy says, type like a woman, ? How could you tell that? How would that even be possible? Yeah. I guess you could say some verbal mannerisms that women might tend towards more, but I mean,
I don't know. I think I'm too aggressive in the way that I wear things to come off as a woman.
Yeah.
It was very clearly like just an offhanded, like sexist accusation.
Yeah.
Used as a character at Homonym Attack because, you really convince people that they're wrong and put them on the straight and narrow path by treating them like complete garbage, because that definitely doesn't make me double down.
Yeah, no, that literally...
you're gonna want to take off all your shit, equip the cat ring, and come down here into the pit with me.
Okay, ducky.
Because by the NPC.
Yeah, down by Aegon, yeah. Let's see, Dash says, Alicization is my favorite too, for how expansive and complex it is. Yeah, I really have a lot of respect for Alicization.
You're gonna want to. Oh, there you are. The stream was delayed. Yeah. So you're gonna want to take off your shit.
Yep. I really have a lot of respect for Alicization as a piece of storytelling. The tone is less my flavor. I don't dislike necessarily how dark it is, but relative to the other arcs, it's not as much my kind of thing. Where's my witch ring? There it is. Gotta get dressed. Hang on. There we go. And there we go. Let's see. Yeah, Dash says that's not to say the others aren't, though. Yeah. Olive says, yeah, I'd say Alicization as well. Seems like a popular answer, huh? Riala says, typing is non-binary, full stop. How the fuck can we gender language? We aren't speaking Spanish. The fuck? I care not for that descriptor.
Oh, that's where she ended up.
I would say gender neutral, non-binary is not, like, you know, a thing. Ordinal scale. Grinch says, ordinal scale, if it can be considered an arc, is my favorite. Olive says, understandable. Fuck. Had I known you were going for it, I would have fugged it. Dash says, I personally loved the overall dark tone, but I definitely appreciate the lighter tone of Unital Ring. Tippy says, I can dig darker tones of shows if done right. Personally, I like stories that push people to the limits. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I very much appreciate what it's doing. I respect the hell out of it as a piece of storytelling. It does a great job. And there's nothing particularly wrong with the darker tone. It's just less my kind of thing. I like the more balanced tone of the earlier arcs, where it knew how to balance being dark and serious, but still have levity. Let's see. Dash says, ordinal scale is absolutely top tier in basically every way possible. Yeah, no, ordinal scale is way up there. Reala says, yeah, Alicization cuts deep, but I think it clearly came from an older Kawahara that was sympathetic to AI ethics and wanted to showcase Kirito's survivor's guilt. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, also fair, I use non-binaries and agnosticism in this kind. Yeah. So, yeah. definitely like Alicization. They're all good. We have received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Neat. Let's see. Darker tone. Tippy says, darker tones are one of the reasons why I love the Ultimate Kevin arc of Ultimate Alien and Goku going Super Saiyan to kill Frieza.
Why are these two down here? I'm surprised, honestly, that some of, like, 3 enemies just kind of fell down here.
Yeah. Dash says, Kawahara has a ton of respect for dark and serious themes without being overboard with them. Yeah, definitely. Rella says, I know it'll probably never come to pass, but I would love to see a fully complete progressive, but it seems like it won't happen, to be honest. I don't know. You never know. It could. I mean, even progressive has to have time skips, you know? All progressive can do is fill in some of the gaps from the original. It can't just give us the entire 2-year experience. So, that, I mean, you know, as long as it cuts down to a reasonable degree, I think that's fine, and I would consider that complete. Let's see. Dash says, I think floor 25 is a good stopping point since it's where a lot of major things happen. Oh, you can't open this? Okay, that's right. You need the key.
From neither side, apparently, which is stupid. You know, really, I gotta be honest, that person that I took the screenshots of a bunch of comments of, to be frank, I don't think I've ever met anyone else online who I wanted to punch in the neck more. I don't know what it is with, like, I assume he's a Zoomer, just Zoomers, and, like, just incredibly nasty attitudes towards other people.
Yeah, I mean, like, as a millennial, you know, with 5 years on you, when we were kids on the internet, it never really got as vicious as it does with the Zoomers, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because Zoomers grew up more immediately immersed in internet culture, where internet culture was a thing for us, but it wasn't as all-consuming as it is today, as ubiquitous as it is today. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. Let's see. Reala says, I know in his afterword from 2012, Kawahara expressed intent to cover every floor. Of course, his business plan probably changed drastically since then, but he's never gone back on that statement. Tippy says, to push a character to their limits can give a deeper understanding of the characters in question, but yeah, a balanced tone is the best compromise for a story. Yeah, definitely. On both of those statements, Tippy. Dash says, so far, Progressive is only at floor 8 after over 10 years of publication. There's no way it'll get to floor 75 in our lifetime. Yeah, no. At least with its pacing. Yeah, like I said, he's gonna have to do some skips. If he does cover each floor, he's gonna have to do shorter stories for most of the floors. It's just not realistic to try to cover everything in the kind of detail he has been covering everything in. And Realis' Virtual Axiom saved me from Zoomerdom 22. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I think I've had that effect on a few people. You're welcome. It's amazing what just... Oh. It's amazing what just, you know, being calm and rational can do, you know? Just listen, communicate. Goes a long way. Tippy says, which is why I tend to dislike shows with unbalanced tones. Sometimes you need to let a scene be and not force a joke or a mood whiplash. Yeah, no, definitely. Grinch says, I just noticed, why is someone named Asuna? Yeah. You'd have to ask Boyish. Boyish, is there a particular reason you named your character Asuna?
Because I wanted to make her ugly, and because I'm using a rapier.
Aha. Well, there you go. Dash says, I find it funny how so many people complain how OG Ironcrad skipped all the floors, yet if it actually did, people would then complain that the pacing was too slow. No, exactly. Like, you can't do a full 2-year story without time skips. You just can't. Reala says, I wouldn't have listened or read as much Carl Sagan if it weren't for me being as interested in SAO as I was in 2020. Neat. Carl Sagan is a very good influence to have, for sure. And subsequently watching your real-world philosophy video. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad it was helpful. I kind of cringe at that one a little bit. I don't really like it anymore, but it feels like I was still kind of trying to find my footing a little too much. But I'm definitely glad that it was impactful and helpful, at the very least. Yeah. And then Grinch says, understandable. Have a good day, good sir. I said good day, sir. Dash says, I say, oh, goat! You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I should probably check and see if anybody's mad at me for that goat harem joke I made at that Muslim guy. Hang on. Okay, no, we're good. None of those five notifications were any kind of screaming. Okay. Next thing I know, I hear outside my window, Allahu Akbar! Like that. So, are we?
You're going the wrong way.
I don't know where you went. I was reading notifications.
No, go backwards. You're going the complete wrong direction.
Okay. Ah, there you are. Let's see. Riala says, well, back when I watched it, it was such a sobering experience for 19-year-old ego and dopamine-driven Riala. Well, I'm glad it had a positive effect. Tippy says, writing conventions is something I love. Writing conversations? Is that what you're trying to say? Something I love doing since I want to be a writer. I just lack the confidence to, mostly because I don't want my first work to suck butt. Well, I'll tell you right now, everybody's is gonna suck. That's just how it is. You gotta crawl before you can walk. You gotta iron it out. Like I said, like with my videos, right? A lot of my earlier stuff, I'm like, I don't know, because I wasn't really, sure about my ability.
Yeah, I would, as much as I would love to do the stupid asshole Detenshi J as my first big thing, I'm thinking of tackling like a significantly smaller project from another bad like Kingdom Hearts video first, because there's simply way too much to go over. Plus, I've never made a video like it before, so...
Yeah.
Oh, right. This guy's technically an NPC.
Yes, he is. Let's see. Riella says, it plummeted me back down to Earth, and I'm all the better for it. That's great. It's great to hear that. Still need to read Demon Haunted World, Dragon in My Garage arc, top 1 peak fiction for real. I love it. I love it. Dash says, everyone sucks at first. Creative arts take time to learn and get good at. Absolutely. Oh, you good, Tippy. I got you. Oh, wait. That was that was the one with the cage on its back. I think that respawns.
That was like the entire reason we came here, so I'm gonna have to go...
Oops.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the chat, and then I saw a thing coming towards me, and I was like, and I was already attacking it, and I was like, oh, I'm committed to this, aren't I? My bad. But that being said, that is the last thing to do here for the moment. So...
Yeah, I'm just gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna go do all the stuff with Sigurd and shit. So I guess you can just go and farm some, like, Silver Knights or something.
Oh, great. Well, I think...
Get more souls.
Great. Well, I think what I'm gonna do is make another monstrosity. That way I'm not just doing grinding. Let's see... Tippy says, Dash, that's true. I don't want to completely suck at first. I have too many ideas and not enough time. Yeah. Yep, that's a mood. Dash says, I don't think SAO would have been as good as it is without the light novel publication and 8+ years of writing before it. That's true. Olive says, Thing, Scaly, Appeal, I attack. Yeah. Let's make another.
Yes.
Hang on, let's name this thing after the fact. Class is going to be deprived. Face presets. Going to go with the Serpentine Traveler. Appearance. Age is going to be aged. Oh, that's fine. Face detail. We're just going to shuffle the shit out of this.
With that skin, you could make Donald Trump.
Oh my god, I could. Whoa! Realis says 100% on Dash's point. Reading SAO Volume 1 in present day is not a pretty sight. I think it's pretty actively bad. You know, this is the thing. I wouldn't say that the official publications like are bad. Oh, Smithers, I'm going to go into Lothric now. Mr. Burns. This is Mr. Burns. Come on.
Or actually, I should probably do my free levels. Just kill myself a bunch of times.
Yeah, there you go. Mick Old Man Jenkins. I love the young people. Which is not to be confused with Joe Biden saying, I love the young people. Let's see. Dash says, I think Volume 1 is still good, just not as great as the others. Yeah, it's definitely a product of its time and circumstances, that's for sure. Grinch says, wasn't the first volume first published in an attempt to win a writing contest or something? Yeah, pretty much. Like, so he originally wrote it to enter a contest, but even after cutting a bunch of things out, it was still over the word limit, so he couldn't even submit it. So he published it online, and that's where the web novels were born, and then he just kept going from there. And then eventually he revised it, and then we got the actual light novel publication, which, I mean, light novel is such a weird distinguisher. It's just a novel. And we got the novel publication that we know today, which is like a whole second draft, basically. And then the anime adapted that. And yeah. Yeah. Give me only your strongest potions. Let's see. Yeah, the Dengeki Bunko. Yeah. Brow color.
And I have exactly 0 souls.
Neat. You're fine, Olive. Yeah, the writing stuff is relatable. I don't write as often as I'd like to, and whenever I do, I'm too perfectionist when it's just the first draft and have no reason to get stuck making it perfect from the get-go. In fact, the perfection, quote-unquote, only comes after polishing, but some behaviors die hard. Oh yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna go with this. At that juncture, I think I should maybe look into. Nah, we're gonna stick with deprived. You're loving my guy. Let's see. Reala says, Neo, do you have any strong opinions on starting up a business with friends? Well, you got to be careful. You got to make sure that there's somebody you can actually trust. You got to be on this. You got to make sure you're both on the same page on basically everything. It's got to be something where you're very clear in your terms with each other. You know, when you sign a contract, you've got to make sure, like, look, this is exactly what's going to be the case. There's no, loopholes or hidden anything, right? You just gotta be very conscious. You gotta work everything out. It's a very much an individual thing. Some people aren't able to pull it off. Some people are. It's kind of hard to give a generalized statement that's gonna actually fit beyond that, really. But if you know somebody that you can trust, I think you should go for it. Just like I said, just be careful, communicate. As with everything, the elements of harmony will be your guide. Honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, loyalty, communication, reciprocation. That is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship dynamic. So, be honest, be kind to each other, be good-humored about things, be generous, be loyal, make sure you communicate, and if someone is showing that to you, reciprocate. If they're not showing that to you, reciprocate. Don't be a doormat. Let's see. Dash says, regarding Volume 1, I will say the anime is superior to it. I agree. Grinch says, I'm still upset that I can't find the novels in my country, and if I do, they're insanely pricey. Yeah, that sucks. That definitely sucks. Oh, I gotta... Riella says, the worst part is when I offer those elements and the business partner doesn't. That's the nightmare scenario. Yeah, definitely. That's what you gotta be careful of. That's why you gotta really feel somebody out first. Have extensive conversations about business plans before you commit. Be very clear on who owns what, because there's no such thing as collective ownership. There is only individuals who have ownership over something, and at most can delegate ownership, can delegate decision-making power to another individual, but ultimately retain the right to withdraw that at any time. So, because ownership is necessarily an individual thing. It's exclusive decision-making power. Let's see. Grinch says, so I have no choice but to read translated PDFs, and even those aren't exactly good. Yeah. That's tough. Olive says, yeah, it's hard to find in mine as well. Almost every book I bought was online. Book Depository, which had free shipping worldwide and good prices overall, is dead now, though. Oh, yeah. Dash and Snuggly were talking about that in Australia. Grinch says, not to mention they were translated by a team that despises SAO and only did it for the laughs. Oh, good God. Ugh, that's gross. Reala says, also using My Little Pony as a framework for starting up LLC. For a startup LLC is both the funniest and true frameworks for business I've ever heard in a while. I've heard in a while. You're welcome. Tippy says, anime and mangos are hard to find and pricey as hell. So pick up shows you truly like and pirate the rest. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how I go about it. I like to have hard copies, so when I can afford them, I'll buy them. Although with ethical concerns now coming into the mix, I've been buying secondhand where possible. Let's see. Reala says, what would you think of a fully cooperatively owned firm that equally distributes all wealth to the workers? Could that exist under capitalism in theory? Curious. So, only if it's voluntary, right? So, if part of the company structure is once we've covered our capital outlay, right? And that means we have paid for the equipment, we've paid for the facility, we've paid for whatever it is we need to do our job in the first place, including compensating the workers for their labor, right? Then we take our proceeds, our return on investment, which technically speaking is by right owned exclusively by whoever put up the capital in order to run the business in the first place. That's their return on investment, right? They own that money. If that person voluntarily says that they are going to divide up the profits, because don't forget, the workers have already been compensated. They have already gotten what they've earned, right? What they're entitled to has already been doled out to them after, before profits have even been calculated. If the business owner says, that's how we're going to do things, I will divide up the ROI that I receive and then divvy that out equally amongst everyone else. Hey, if it's voluntary, it's valid. So yes, that kind of structure could certainly exist under capitalism. A voluntary co-op in and of itself is nothing more than I own what I own, you own what you own, we agree to bring our property that we privately own to work, and we cooperate as equals in whatever capacity it's possible to, right? So if you know better on this subject than I do regarding what we need to do our jobs, I'll listen to you voluntarily because that's what's best for getting the job done. So, does that make sense? Voluntary co-ops are fundamentally capitalist because they are still trading labor for financial compensation in a mutually agreeable form. Our worker co-op, we all cooperate together, right? We all bring our own property. We all bring our own property, we all work together voluntarily, and whoever is best suited to complete a particular contract that we bring in completes that contract, or we cooperate to complete that contract if it takes more than one person, whatever the scenario might be. Voluntary is the name of the game. That's still capitalism because you're still voluntarily exchanging goods and services for mutually agreeable prices. Let's see. I might have missed a couple things here, but Dash says, I remember the core member of the Spanish or Italian translation team would literally bully and harass anyone who tried to translate something SAO outside of them. Gross. Let's see. Grinch says, I mean, the team was Spanish. I have no idea about Italians. You could tell their translation wasn't very good when they used Klein instead of Klein. Rahela says, socialism done capitalism. I've talked to Marxists that don't understand this. Face red, droopy eyes. Rahela says, but yeah, I think we're on the same page. It's just a more ideological approach to capitalism that I like in theory. I don't care about infinite expansion. I'd rather give back to the workers. So that's kind of the idea, is basically any good capitalist is going to look at their profits and say, like, how much of this can I reinvest into the company to improve the working conditions, to improve the pay of my workers, to make sure everybody's happy so that they continue to want to work for me, to be happy to work for me. That way we can be more productive, we can make even more money, right? It's so you're entitled to keep as much of your money as you want to, right? When you've put in the money to actually float the business in the first place. But once you've got that under control, maybe it's a good idea to look into, like, hey, these people who work for me, maybe I can offer them a raise. If, these people who are doing a good job, or maybe I don't even care if they're doing a good job or not. I just want to see them, happy, right, to have more money, because then that could in and of itself be a motivator to do better, right? It's kind of cyclical in that regard. So, yeah. I wouldn't even call that trickle-down economics, but unironic. No, I don't think... I don't think I would call it trickle down. It's just maybe.
Isn't like the stuff trickling down just capitalism? Just the way that it works.
Off the top of my head, I don't even remember what like the Republicans used to call trickle down economics back when it was like a big talking
Well, I'm not
point.
talking about like what their specific idea was. Just like the idea that capitalism will naturally trickle down the resources to increase everybody's wealth and everything.
Yeah, okay, you could put it like that. I mean, which is true because the rising tide lifts all boats. The more wealth is generated in a market, the better everybody does. The problem is when you have these, monopolized oligarchic situations under governments, which governments create monopolies. They don't protect against them. They do that through regulation.
I mean, the copyright law is literally like giving someone a monopoly.
Yeah. Let's see. Hang on, real quick. Tippy says a good way to when times have changed is when liking the Ultimate Alien Force art style more than the Omniverse has become a hot take. Real raises can be motivators, definitely. So that's the thing, right? So, whoops. Yeah, I'm not keeping this character anyway, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, so that's kind of the idea is, the rising tide lifts all boats, and a good capitalist, and matter of fact, I was actually listening to Stefan Molyneux the other day, and he was talking about unions, and how basically a good capitalist makes a union obsolete. Completely defeats the purpose of even having unions, because a good capitalist can provide the benefits that a union can provide preemptively without the overhead of having a union. Because then you've got union dues, you've got striking and all that kind of stuff to deal with, and it's like, or I could just pay the workers more. If they're not happy, they're free to negotiate themselves, or I can see that they're not happy and say, hey, look, guys, let me, let's work something out here, right? So, a good capitalist is definitely someone who is going to be proactive in making positive arrangements with the people that his business depends on, or actually comes to him for his product or service in the first place. Tippy says economics can be a mess if you're not careful. Many football players went broke after recklessly spending money. Correct. You were so rich, how did you go broke? Well, at first very slowly, then very quickly. Riella says, I just hate how abusable capitalism is. It seems to me the bad actors make a lot of it unpalatable, especially as someone who takes deontological ethics seriously. Any solutions to this that you like? Unions are useless in a perfect world, but unfortunately we don't live in one. I don't think capitalism...
Well, just get rid of government.
Well, that would help. I don't think capitalism is in and of itself abusable. I think people's ignorance of economics is abusable. I think improving economic literacy... Smithers, I've been punched! I think improving economic literacy would go a long way. People need to be more proactive. They need to be more literate in their own finances. They need to understand money. They need to understand subjective value. They need to understand market forces. The best way to avoid being taken advantage of by an unethical market actor is to be your own advocate and know your worth, know what's going on, know how things actually should work. Just be careful, be conscious. Because, again, capitalism is nothing more than the voluntary exchange of goods and services for mutually agreeable prices. The only way that there's going to be any abuse there is if somebody is not a conscious a conscious buyer, so to speak. If you're a conscientious buyer, if you agree to something without actually knowing what it is you're getting into, that can be very problematic for you. No, you see, no, that's okay. So you place the burden of understanding on the individual, but not a burden of ethical practice on the bad faith capitalist that is looking to take advantage of it. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a big part of preventing or mitigating people being taken advantage of by bad faith actors is to be more proactive in their own... hang on. I might be rambling a little bit because I'm trying to split my attention here. I don't want to be sitting still for too long doing nothing while I'm talking, but at the same time trying to actually have a cerebral conversation while also actively paying attention to what I'm doing is a little bit dicey. Okay, so let me clarify. So a big part of mitigating abuse by bad faith actors in a voluntary market, right, is by being very careful, buyer beware, right? Be very careful about what kind of arrangements you're getting into. Suss them out, really get to know the person, understand what it is that you're dealing with, understand economics and how money works and all these things. But yes, as I was about to say, the bad faith actor is still unethical because, well, if you're defrauding somebody, you're defrauding somebody, right? That's theft. I think that's the point I'm looking for clarification on. I agree. Financial literacy can solve a lot of issues in society. Yes. So yeah, that is a big part of it. Obviously, if you're being unethical, that right there, right? If you're acting in bad faith, if you're defrauding somebody, you're scamming somebody. You're deliberately creating a bad deal and taking advantage of the fact that they don't know any better in order to enrich yourself. Well, yeah, you're defrauding somebody. So that is obviously unethical because that's theft. If they had given informed consent to that situation, then it would be 100% on them. But if they don't know that you're screwing them because they don't know any better, because they're illiterate, yeah, well, now you're just abusing someone for your own benefit. That's not okay. So that's not capitalism that's being abused. That's an unethical person that is taking advantage of someone not having the ability to properly advocate for themselves economically. That's how I would say that. Let's see. Snuggly says, so how's the run going? Boyish went off to do a few things, and so now I'm playing Mr. Burns while I wait for him. All good. I think I was just typing faster than you could react to the messages. We pretty much agree 100%. Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit tough to be giving to read the messages with the delay and be playing the game and be giving a comprehensive response. So yeah, typing is definitely faster than I can do those three things simultaneously. Hello, doggy. Bonk. Get the stick, boy. Get the stick. Ooh, he got some distance. Stick, stupid. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, I kind of figure it's obvious that, if you're going to be a bad faith actor, then, yeah, that's unethical. Don't do that. It's a lot. You've been doing a good job juggling. I couldn't play Dark Souls while talking about capitalism. That's for damn sure. I try. Mr. Burns. Do I what want do?
Welcome, I looked at very then.
Yeah, we'll do that.
One,
Yeah, so...
The fact that you can, like, infinitely farm rubbish off of the workers in the undead settlement, even though rubbish is literally does nothing. Like, you can't even trade it with the crows.
Mm.
Ugh.
That's stupid.
Hmm?
That's stupid. Yep. I am the Yamcha of all Saiyans! Vegeta. He deserved better. Yep. I don't know. It is what it is, you know? It's too bad Dragon Ball sucks now. Yeah, he deserved his L's and Z, but Super definitely should have started rewarding him more instead of just keeping him the butt monkey. Let's see. Riala says, just to TLDR, blame the ethics of a bad faith capitalist on the individual, not the system of capitalism. Am I on track with that? Correct. Because the system of voluntary exchange is not at fault. It's what someone does with it. It's kind of like saying that guns, you know, like, to say that guns are the problem when someone chooses to use them in bad faith, when plenty of people also use them in perfectly legitimate ways, right? Capitalism, like guns, is a morally neutral tool. All it is a market based around property rights and the absolute nature thereof. Does capitalistic theory necessarily entail good intent? I guess that's my next question. So, the idea is such that, yes, in theory, okay, voluntary exchange, you enrich yourself by enriching other people, right? You make people happy, therefore they want to come to you and give you their money, right? So, well, how do you make people happy? Well, not by lying to them, not by defrauding them, right? Not by abusing them. You make people happy by giving them what they want for a price that makes them enticed to come to you for future service, right? Not feeling like they have to, more like, hey, I want to because I had a good experience with this guy. So, capitalistic theory is based around good intent. But it also acknowledges that bad faith actors can and will exist within the market. So when you have bad faith actors, yeah, they might get away with it in the short term, but it's not going to be too long, especially if you don't have the government protecting them like we do now. If you don't have a government body protecting them, what's going to end up happening is the market is going to cut its pound of flesh. You know, you can only defraud and abuse people for so long before others catch on and go, hey, I don't want to give this guy my business. He's a hack. He's a fraud. You know, he's not going to give me good value. And when you don't have the strong arm of the state to prevent proper competition from cropping up without permission, well, you can't stop anybody from competing with you short of naked violence. Well, if you engage in coercion or naked violence in order to prevent competition from cropping up, that's going to get around. People are going to realize that's going on, and they're going to go, wow, I don't like that guy. He does this to people just to maintain a monopoly on the market. I'm not going to do it. So when people stop giving you their money, right, because they don't want to, because you're abusive, your business opportunities don't last very long. So, you know, you require the good faith of the market in order to be a successful capitalist, and especially in the long term. And so if you are not in turn good faith, again, it's reciprocity, those elements of harmony I was talking about, right? If you're not a good faith capitalist, you're not going to last very long in the market, is the idea. So let's see. Olive says, when you look at that, 2 hours have gone by and I'm still here. Whatever happened to going to bed soon? So yeah, Dreamland calls. Bye, everyone. And have good rest of the stream. Appreciate that, Olive. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Always welcome to come back at another time. I am going to try to be streaming more in the afternoon on my end. We started at like, 8:15 tonight? Hello. That's my Rhode Island coming out. But yeah, so. Let's see. Riala says, oh yeah, and that's to speak nothing of a good lawyer running an earth-shattering litigation to those bad faith actors, although I know you're not one to like law too much. Yeah, I don't like law as it currently exists, like from a statist perspective. It's just somebody's opinion backed up with a gun. It is the initiation of force and coercion. That being said, contract litigation, I think, is perfectly legitimate. If you voluntarily sign a contract and there's a dispute to be raised about that contract, hey, you know, you and a DRO can take up a dispute with the problematic party, and Godspeed. So yeah, I was talking a lot there. Mr. Burns is just going along. Isn't that right, Smithers? Whoa! Got caught on the furniture. Hey, that's what I'm considering going to law school for, civil contract law. There you go. But yeah, you know, that I think is perfectly legitimate. But things like, oh, you know, the law says you can't have a plant. I don't agree with that. Yup. Good example, actually, in my house. So Rhode Island state law now stipulates that if you do more than a 50% renovation of a property, you have to use arc fault breakers. Problem is they don't fucking work. So the government demands that you use something that doesn't work properly in order to pass your electrical inspections on your property. So you have to waste money buying these busted-ass circuits in order to pass your electrical inspection. Then you have to take them out and put regular circuits back in to replace them in order to actually be able to use your outlets. It's ridiculous. Many laws are arbitrary. I do like the fundamental ones that prevent individuals from doing the obviously bad shit like theft and murder. Yeah, like, you really don't need anything more than, you know, a moral ban on rape, theft, assault, and murder. And once you've got that covered, Like, what else is there? You know? Everything else falls under, like, okay, well, if you're not hurting anybody without their consent or taking their stuff without their consent, how are you doing anything wrong? Criminal law also seems like a justice as fairness in my mind. There's a lot to go into there. It's a lot of things in criminal law can be just as arbitrary. And like I said, frankly, you know, there are more, and I've said this before, I don't think to you in particular, but there are more laws that violate people's rights than protect them or even claim to protect them. Open the can of worms if I'd like. Maybe another time. Just the general idea being, you know, law in general is inherently arbitrary beyond, you know, the non-initiation of force or coercion, and respect for property rights. Anything else is just kind of opening the door for tyranny, as far as I'm concerned. You know, criminal law, well, what does that even mean, right? So it can be completely arbitrary in and of itself what constitutes criminal law. Oh, good, you've picked my brain enough tonight. Well, I don't mind. Yeah, so, like I said, you know, like in certain countries, it's illegal to be gay, right? You're a criminal if you're gay. Like, how stupid is that, right? So, that kind of thing. Like, oh, what does criminal law mean? You know, define what makes someone a criminal. And is it objective or is it arbitrary? If it's objective, then you've already covered it with rape, theft, assault, and murder. Beyond that, like, what's the point, right? Oh no! Smithers, help me! Boy, is she almost done?
I'm about to unlock Bird of Sacrifices and then do the secret thing.
Okay.
I tried my best to get some chunks to upgrade my katana, but +8 is the best I can manage right now.
Oh no, only +8 at the beginning of the game. Let's see. Snuggly says, while arresting people for possessing weed or any other drug when the individual hasn't actually harmed anyone other than themselves is immoral. Correct. That would be an initiation of force or coercion, initiation of force in particular. That would be wrong. That would not be a valid law. So to criminalize someone for a victimless, quote-unquote, crime, that's not legitimate. Let's see. Rella says, thanks for being good faith. I expect nothing less from you, but the internet can be a cesspool, and I'm tired of those conversations. Lol. You know, I completely get where you're coming from, buddy. I feel the same way. So I appreciate the good faith questions. You know, not being like, oh, well, you'd better defend your entire ideology from someone who's bound and determined to completely misunderstand it in the worst ways possible. And, you know, tired of that, too. Dealt with a lot of that garbage recently from people that do not understand what a logical fallacy is. Pitiful. Abso-fucking-lutely. Completely feel you there. Completely. Alright, so are we basically at a point where we're going to retire Mr. Burns? Is that what's going on? Send him off to pasture?
Maybe.
Well. It is what it is. Yeah, no, it's kind of one of the reasons why I kind of got sick of focusing my philosophical energy on the political stuff, because while I do come at politics more from a philosophical angle than any kind of like partisan, pragmatic, like, you know, will to power kind of thing, because I don't like thinking like that. I think that's why politics is in and of itself so toxic. Nobody thinks about it from first principles. They just think about it from like, oh, well, what do I think? What do these people I like think? And then that's just a policy position I'm going to take, and I'm going to argue policy, and it's boring. It's toxic. It's stressful. It's annoying. So, I much rather focus my energy on things that, you know, are a little bit more low tempo, so to speak. You know, lower impact. That's kind of why I shifted back to like wanting to deal with more of like relationship ethics and religion and other religions besides statism. Let's put it that way, because statism is a religion. Dash had to go away for a bit. What were we talking about? So Riala just had some questions about like capitalism and ethics, contract law, things like that, like where I stand on that kind of stuff. Nothing major. Just some philosophizing. And I was playing with Mr. Burns while I'm waiting for Boyish. So he's almost done, I think. Riala. Oh God, you know I was kind of saying this last night. I'm not so sure I'm even all that popular in the Sword Art Online fan base anymore because of the fact that I piss on their sacred cows. God forbid I say that the anime is just as good as the novels, and that the people who are saying it's not are objectively wrong. And then God forbid I prove it. It is what it is, though. Like I said, you know, I'd rather tell the truth and be unpopular than conform my message to what I think is going to be more socially... Whoop. Mr. Burns, vacate! Yeah, like... I would rather tell the truth and be unpopular than conform my message to what I think is going to be more... God damn it! These fucking, every time my brain switches gears right at the end of the sentence. Whatever's going to be more socially beneficent is less important to me than just telling the truth. The anime is better. The fuck. Yeah, no, I agree. There are definitely, you know, I generally think that they're equal overall, but the anime definitely. The anime is definitely my preference, and I think if I were to really sit down and go through it tit for tat, I would probably say the anime is better. But generally, I think they're about equal. What really I think sits poorly with people is the fact that it's not a bad adaptation just because it changes things or cuts content. You know, I've talked about this with Boyish and Dash. Like, the anime cutting content, in a lot of ways, especially their precious fucking internal monologues that they just cannot get enough of talking about, cutting that stuff out and changing the delivery method from direct dialogue to things like body language and music and color and lighting and all these other things that they use to communicate the same ideas through visual storytelling. You know, it is what it is. It's my brain's getting a little cooked. This is that juggling we were talking about before. Whoa! Fellas, calm down. Yes, replacing the internal monologues with visual cues respects the viewers so much more. Absolutely. I would much rather have to actually pull the information out of what's being shown to me rather than just have it spoon-fed to me. And yeah, like, for sure. Have fun juggling that, clown. Let's see. Also, most novel purists don't even read in Japanese, which I find pretty baffling. I think we have disagreements on localization, though. Tippy says, after shower, come back to read Drugs, a virtual Axiom stream in a nutshell. You're not wrong. Let's see. Dash says, heard there, removing Kirito's inner monologue about how attractive and beautiful Asuna is for like a page was actually a very poor decision, as that was super duper vital to the plot. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. No, I definitely think the anime made a lot of smart decisions with what they removed and what they translated from dialogue into visual cues, because it helps the pacing tremendously for starters. All right, Boyish, I'm getting tired of looking at this wrinkled ass crack. What are you up to?
Welcome, very within. Farewell, Ashen One.
I am trying to finish up Undead Settlement. I just did the Siegward thing.
Okay.
I'm just clearing up the rest.
Okay. I'm gonna check my Twitter notifications, make sure I'm not getting yelled at too much. I see 6 of them and I'm like, yikes. Let's see.
Okay, so the cage men are weak to thrust.
Oh my god, that fucking idiot that was supposedly proving to me.
Is this the SAO kid?
Yeah, the SAO kid. I love it. They always do this. They say that they're going to prove that the novels are better than the anime, that the anime is a garbage adaptation. They can never just say that it doesn't quite live up or something like that. It always has to be that it's garbage. It's a terrible adaptation. They can never do that. You know, it's always got to be this extreme hyperbole. And they always say that they're going to prove it. And then it's the same just piddling nonsense responses where it's just like, put my internal monologues. And it's like, shut up. If you don't have anything, don't pretend you have anything. Fucking teenagers who think that they have perfect media literacy should be insert thing here for sport. Let's see.
Oh, I got a fucking blessed gem from these fucking priest ladies.
Neat.
That's interesting.
Neat.
I didn't know that they could drop one.
Oh, that's a terrible camera angle. Let's see. 100% SAO is a legitimately very intelligent show. Snuggly says novels explain things more because of its medium. The audiovisual medium has a lot going for it versus novels. Correct. And like Dash said, yeah, the inner monologues work in the book because it's a book. Yeah, like you can put whatever you want in a book. That doesn't mean it's going to translate well to an audiovisual medium. An audiovisual medium is supposed to be a much more natural, streamlined experience. It's not supposed to stop every 5 seconds and have dialogue for, X amount of time where it's just someone thinking to themselves. That gets very boring very quickly. Battle Shonen do that constantly, and it's so annoying. It drags the pacing down terribly. Let's see. Fucking love how the guy was accusing Boyish of just throwing insults and couldn't create valid arguments when that's what he was literally doing. Yeah, no, dead ass. Like, that's why I didn't even bother responding. I might make a yas out of it though. Just saying. If the anime adapted most, if not all, the inner monologue, there would be several episodes literally just about Kirito explaining things to the audience. The show would be unbearable. Exactly. So, fuck your monologues. They can go bye-bye. The show is just fine as it is. You get all the necessary information. You can help with that? Great. Sounds like a plan. That'll be fun. I feel like I need to rewatch Alicization. It's been a while. Let's see. Tippy says inner monologues can work if used sparingly and fit a scene in question. Yes, exactly. Overuse of them for the sake of exposition or to communicate how a character is feeling, no. Just give me better pacing with, more information being conveyed through audiovisual cues rather than just straight dialogue. Don't stop the story on like a still image with a filter over it to show that this is happening inside someone's head and then have a 30 plus second conversation. Like, I don't want to do that. Let's see. You have experience with the novels and have them on hand with you. Yep. No, you're actually definitely further ahead in the Alicization novels than I am. I haven't been able to read them in like 3 years. Let's see. Like, the SAO anime does have inner monologues, but they're pretty sparse. Exactly, because they know how to use them. They didn't just go, get these completely out of here. They said, well, what do we need? What don't we need? Alright, I am going to send Mr. Burns off to pasture. Okay. Let's see. Tippy says Death Note uses inner monologues to great effect and makes at least the first 25 episodes better for it. Yeah, well, because it's that kind of story, Tippy. That's why it works in Death Note. It's very much a cerebral cat and mouse kind of game where the character's thoughts are a huge part of driving the story forward. It's not like Sword Art Online, which is more focused on interactions and action. It's not... Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, Riella, gotta go do some homework. Thanks for the chat. Not a problem, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Snuggly says, anime can't really be one-to-one adaptations because if they were, they'd be garbage. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, the pacing, God. Can you imagine trying to directly copy everything in the novels directly into an anime adaptation, like completely without cutting anything?
I forgot that Bonfire Last Rested At works differently in this game.
Tippy says, for a Ballad of Boyish the Saveless, there's little amount of a Ballad of Boyish the Saveless. Yeah, he's off doing single player stuff at the moment. We're trying to rebuild his 100% save. We got pretty far, and then oops. So.
Yeah, I'm doing my free levels.
Yep. So, I'm gonna go back to the shrine, I guess. This is kind of the downside to doing co-op 100% streams and things like that, because there's gonna be periods where I'm doing nothing because I'm the hired help and he's got things to do in his world that I can't be part of. So, Yeah, that's where that's where it helps to have an active chat. um, so I'm guessing your character is Urza if she never saw the sun in her life. You could say that. It's just not that pale compared to the actual Urza, but anyway. Yeah, no, but the people bitching about the novels being better than the anime really need to just understand how adaptations work. That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, these kind of people have existed forever. Like, there's still people, I'm pretty sure, who think that, like, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is garbage, including, I think, the Tolkien estate.
Uh.
I know that, like, Tolkien's, like, son or grandson or whoever's, like, in charge of, like, that stuff now, I think he still doesn't approve of, like, the Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's works in general being adapted into movies. Like, Amazon could not get the license to use the
Lord of the Rings name.
they couldn't get the license. Yeah, so they had to do, like, basically fan fiction because they weren't allowed to use the actual material.
Yep. Well, that's all there is to it. People's is dumb.
So, like, 11 more levels, and then I guess I can start pumping into intelligence and faith. So I don't have any reason to get more than 50 luck. I could go for 60 dex, but I don't think there's a point.
I'm just at the point where strength, dex, and attunement are all I need. So Snuggly says, y'all always manage to find the crazies somehow. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think...
What were you saying a while ago about, like, how, like, sanity always attracts the insane?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, that's kind of the idea. Sanity always attracts the insane. It's like their kryptonite. They hate it. And what insanity needs to do when it detects sanity is stomp it out, because it recognizes that it's a threat. That's kind of the gist of it. You'll notice that sanity doesn't seek out insanity. Sanity actually kind of prefers to avoid insanity. We don't go looking for trouble. We don't sit there and go, I want to go fight with people today. We go, Jesus, not again. And that's kind of
like, I don't act, well, like, the only exception is, like, I guess research or something, like you're actively looking for things that could maybe disprove your position, but you don't, when you're operating based on truth, you don't just actively go around and, like, attack people. You just see what people are saying, and then you respond, and then you know, they start cyberbullying you, and you're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of why I've been much more liberal with, like, the mute. Well, I've always been very liberal with the mute button, but, like, more in particular lately, I've been more liberal with the block button. I just don't give a shit anymore. You know, it's like, what am I gonna do? Just sit there and stroke myself off? You know, just give myself a nice hand job because I never block people? Like, what good is not using it? Who gives a shit, right? So, it's like, I don't really care, you know. But Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, obviously, you want to go out there and see what the opposition to your own positions is in case you're wrong about things, because of course. But yeah, like, we don't sit there and go, I need to find people to fight with. We don't see the insane as a threat so much as an annoyance and a burden. And that's why I'm like, what value is there in this exchange? Go away. This is kind of my attitude most of the time, because they're nuts. These people are not reptite. They're just kind of warm bodies that have some kind of meat circuitry that's firing, but it's really not doing a very good job. So if they're barely even able to have an internal dialogue with themselves, why would I sit there and go, yeah, let me try to have a productive conversation with this person in 140 characters or less? Why? What value is that to me? So it's kind of why, like, even shifting back to, like, the atheism stuff and relationship ethics, which is my preference as far as philosophy goes. I don't enjoy the political stuff. I really don't. I've kind of been focusing on it more out of a feeling of necessity than anything. Like, I need to speak about this stuff, but even then, it's really not getting that far. So I'm kind of like, whatever.
It's very funny to me, actually, because the whole sanity attracts the insane kind of thing, because that was literally what happened to me with Detention J. He wasn't even part of, like, the thread. He just came out of, like, nowhere and just attacked me for my position on KH3 with, like, begging the question and stuff. He was hostile from the very start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what people who are, like, biased and have, let's say, religious beliefs do, because religion isn't just Christianity and stuff.
Yeah.
They regularly engage in book burning. Like, that's all it is. It's just when they attack people for being truthful and sane and stuff, what they're doing is they're burning books that their preferred beliefs do not like.
Right. Yeah, no, that's pretty much, metaphorically or not, correct. And that's the thing. Like I said, because the insane view sanity as a threat because it is ultimately a panacea to their toxin. But we don't, the sane don't sit there and view the insane as necessarily a threat. We see them as more of just like a burden and an annoyance. Whereas, because the insane see the sane as a threat, they go, we need to destroy them. We can't have this. This is a threat to us. It's like, well, if the truth is a threat to your beliefs, what does that say about your beliefs? All right, so Tippy said the Lord of the Rings movies made some improvements from the books, and I'm glad that Amazon didn't get their hands on the IP, since it would have trash judging from Rings of Power. Yeah, I didn't watch Rings of Power.
Well, honestly, I'm not so sure how that would be true. Maybe it could have still ended up badly, but, like, fundamentally, the Rings of Power is. They had to completely start from scratch with, like, a completely original everything. Whereas with some actual source material to limit their work, it would be more like an adaptation. It could have still ended up being garbage, but we don't really have any way of knowing that.
I think it would have been more of a direct insult to the material if the quality of the work that they did with their original project is anything to go by. Especially the attitudes that they had towards what they were working with and the people who were giving them criticism. Snuggly says, yeah, my tolerance for bullshit has really gone down the drain over the years. Definitely just mute idiots more often. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I kind of went back to the atheism stuff, like last night and today. Kind of started dipping my toe back into that water, and because, I mean, it's been a while. And like, I had this one guy show up who was like, oh, why do they always go after Catholic Christians in particular? And it's like, and I said, well, because Catholicism is one of the most obnoxious denominations of Christianity there is. Like, they're kind of asking for it by being so rude and indignant and arrogant. And so, we kind of got into this whole thing. It didn't last very long. It was a few brief, it was a brief exchange. It was a few tweets. But I basically said, like, look, their beliefs inform their behavior. That's why I'm not just criticizing the individuals who act this way, but the religion itself, because the religious beliefs are how they view the world, and how they view the world informs what kind of decisions they're going to make. They have free will. If their ideal standard is in accordance with Catholic doctrine, then the proposed actions they take are going to be measured in relation to Catholic doctrine as the ideal standard, right? So if that's the case, then if they're acting like assholes and often citing their religious beliefs as justification for being assholes, Rocky Top Otaku, then that clearly indicates that there's something toxic about the beliefs themselves, right? So, and he basically tries to challenge me as if I don't know what I'm talking about and say, like, well then, please list off the specific things about it that are morally repugnant and the verses thereof, or whatever, however he said it. And I'm just like, no, I have better things to do. You're perfectly welcome to go sifting through the mountain of canonical contradictions, animal abuse, hypocrisy, bigotry, misogyny, homophobia, advocation of slavery and naked violence. Go right ahead. Have fun. It's in all of the versions of the Judeo-Christian texts. You have a blast, my guy. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, yes, I'll provide you all the sources in the Bible. No, fuck that. And frankly, it's been too long since I've read the Bible. I don't remember them all. I've read the Bible, the Quran, the Hadiths. I've basically, if it's an Abrahamic religious text, I've read it. Was not impressed. So, but it was many years ago now. Like I said, I kind of fell off from that stuff. I kind of was like, I've said everything I need to say, and I'm not really getting much out of this at this point. And now there's these new whack jobs on the scene, and so I'm like, okay, I want to look into this stuff. Snuggly says, I do not have the patience to read the religious text. I'd sooner neck myself. It was part of asking questions and figuring out what was and wasn't true. Bible's mid too long. You're not wrong, Dash. Also, terrible character development. No thematic consistency. That God guy's a douchebag. Anyway, so yeah, it was more like I read it when I was like in my teens because I really wanted to know what I was up against, like what I was asking questions about. I wanted to see if any of it actually made sense, and lo and behold, it did not. All right, Tippy, you go do that. Appreciate you coming by. Hopefully, we'll continue to be able to stream a little bit earlier than we have been for the rest of this week. And, yeah, we'll take it from there. So. Bible has poor pacing. Yeah, that whole part about, like, the old man who got drunkenly raped by his daughters. All the incest, Hey, everybody gives Sword Art Online shit for having not incest in it, but then nobody's like, hey, the Bible. You ever want to see a chick get turned into a pillar of salt for the heinous crime of looking over her shoulder? Dude, the Bible is so fucking weird. It's not even like it's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. Like, I would love it if people would just treat it like the fiction that it is, you know? Like, stop taking it so seriously. Like, I can look at Sword Art Online, I can look at My Little Pony, I can look at, Spider-Man, and I can pull out meaningful lessons and philosophical principles that I can assess, right? And I can see how they apply universally or situationally, and I can adjust the way I live according to the ideas that I actually am able to derive from these pieces of fiction that are communicating these ideas. Do the same thing for the fucking Bible, would you? I mean, for Christ's sakes. I think anybody who comes to a stream from a guy named Virtual Axiom and has a problem with there being discussions of religious texts and and political things, I don't know, kind of feel like your priorities are a little wacky if you're bothered by that. Philosophical shit is in the goddamn name. Snuggly says, just saying kiss sis exists if you want good incest. God, it's been forever. I need to go back to Oremo, too. It's been a long time. And I've actually been listening to the Thinking Atheist podcast again from the beginning, and because I kind of wanted to go back and like see, like I remember kind of splitting off from Seth good few years ago. The ending of Oremo is controversial. You either love it or hate it. I don't remember enough about the show to really say one way or the other on anything, but one of these days I'm going to go back and watch it again. But, yeah, I remember a good few years ago, I want to say like maybe 2015 or so, I think I kind of broke off from Seth because he was talking about being like a conservative and a feminist or something like that, and I was just like, no thanks. Which kind of a dumb move on my part. There was really no reason for that. I was just kind of like not too comfortable with the whole thing at the time. But I think I was a little bit overwhelmed by like all the toxicity of feminism that was coming out then, and so it was like, I don't really like this. I don't trust it. I don't want to lose my vision of Seth as being a reasonable guy. So I think I'm just gonna back away. But I went back and started listening to those podcasts again. I'm on number 6 right now, but. It's interesting going back because I was like 16 when these episodes came out, and there's really not much of anything I can really say I disagree with at this point. They haven't really like gotten too deep into anything like any kind of like legally actionable stuff or ideological things. There was one caller who was talking about like cisgender and all that kind of garbage, and that I was a little bit like, that's not a thing that I care for, but other than that, I mean, I was pretty much picking up what they were putting down, and I was vibing right along with it. Nothing really objectionable. There was one other guy who kind of called in and was insinuating that capitalism was exploitative and shit like that. But two little comments from callers out of the 5 shows I've listened to so far. I mean, pretty good. Let's see. Dash says, you know what I love? Big anime titties. Exactly. That's always a good time. This is Asuna's big bazungas. Suguha's big bazungas. Them gigantic dung honkaroos. Boyish, my guy, what are we doing?
Fiddling about with the tower. I'm just missing the Firekeeper set. And then I was gonna go kill the Dark Wraith.
Should we not maybe do a better job of breaking up these little jaunts into solo land? Because I've been sitting here for over an hour waiting for you. I kind of have a stream going.
I mean, you can just keep talking about stuff.
Yeah, I suppose. My stream, if you don't like the fact that we are kind of more laid back here, go away. I'm not your dancing monkey. I mean, if we're talking about ordinal scale Asuna, then, I mean, you're not wrong. Snuggling exploitation is when people voluntarily agree on mutually beneficial terms. Yeah, right? God, how dare you. I gotta say, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Yeah, Boyish, that guy, that Hassan guy that we were talking to earlier.
Yeah.
He was actually not hostile. He even clarified that he wasn't. I think he picked up on like us being a little bit more getting that vibe from him, and I think he realized that, like, you know, with how many religious people have been kind of dogpiling me in particular for the past couple days, that, you know, it was a worthy thing to clarify. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that he conceded that I had a point on the fine tuning thing. You know, because I mentioned, like, you know, there have been 5 mass extinctions throughout the history of Earth. And, like, this whole idea that, oh, well, the Earth is perfectly placed to support life and so that we can be here. It's like, dude, you do realize that in 5 billion years the sun is going to become a red giant and engulf the inner planets and vaporize life on Earth, right? And he was just kind of like, oh, that's a good point. It's like... Which, yes, that gives me existential anxiety. It's going to happen in 5 billion years, but it still kind of freaks me out to think about. I don't like the idea. But... Yep. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect that. I thought he was going to just double down and be willfully ignorant and be difficult about everything, and, you know, but nope. But it is kind of good to go back to like the atheism stuff. It's been a while. Kind of hope we can master space exploration, or we're just fucked. Yeah, no, like we really need to take inspiration from, like, the panspermia hypothesis, and like really consider the possibility of colonizing and terraforming other planets. Meet some hot alien girls too. Hey, Shatner may not have been up to seducing green women, but I am. Yeah, no, like, definitely need to look into, like, replicating Earth on other planets somehow, you know? And there's another idea, like, take some of that inspiration from the Noah's Ark story, right? But like make it a legit thing of like interplanetary travel to save every species on the planet that you can. Plants, animals, you name it. I think it's interesting. It gives me hella anxiety.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting. Do I detect an indication that we're ready to...
Yeah, I'm just gonna get my katana to +9, and then we should be good for the Word of Sacrifices.
Alrighty then. Oh, we get to go see Jesus! Imagine being the first guy to fuck an alien. That's the downside, is that the likelihood of being genetically compatible is so low. But green and blue chicks. Can do. Can do. Wonder if I'll get like telepathy or some shit from just having sex with one. Wouldn't that be something? Telepathy is an STD in their culture. I can see the future.
My unkindled, hollowed ass is just waiting in the Word of Sacrifices.
Alrighty then. And my sign is not down. I gotta go place it. Oh, I went the wrong way. I went to the wrong bonfire because I can't put my sign down here. This is a solo area with all the Corvians.
Oh, right, yeah, I need to actually move up to the second bonfire. I forgot that... It seems that we're always going to forget that this first place is single player.
I'm with Dash. Just gonna have to take our chances. Yep. Don't worry, I'll take one for the team. That was nice. We had a good active chat tonight, though. That's one of the main reasons I want to try to stream a little bit earlier if I can, you know? Gives more people an opportunity to come around. gonna have to beat me first, motherfucker. I do wish there was a little more activity on Twitch, just because it has the features that YouTube doesn't. You go through all this setup with like the alert box and shit, and YouTube doesn't really do anything with it. Dash says, with my time zone, to get everyone watching at the same time, I'll have to stream really late my time. Yeah, it's tough because, you know, we got
There's no perfect solution when you have people in Germany, people in Australia, and people in America.
Yeah, like, and I think Olive is in Portugal. It's just a fucking mess. Like, there's so many different time zones to account for, and it's just like I don't know. And I can only do what I can do, you know, based on what my schedule allows. And, you know, especially if I'm working, it's oof. Like, I got a job to do tomorrow, and then we're gonna go back on Wednesday to finish, because we don't have the materials that we need to finish it tomorrow. But you know, I can't guarantee that I'll be available in the early afternoon. We're gonna go after 10 in the morning and then take it from there. But I have no idea how soon I'll be able to get on, you know, tomorrow. And that's mostly been the thing, is like, you know, just my schedule has been like, oh, okay, I couldn't start until like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, almost midnight, you know. Which, it's 11 right now. I am thinking, because I do have to try to get up a little bit early tomorrow, I'm going to have to end up killing it after we hit midnight. So we'll see how far we can get. We should be able to get to the Deacons. No, actually, that's kind of doubtful. We'll at the very least get to the chapel. But we got an hour, and then I'm going to have to wrap up, so. Yeah, Snuggly. Active chat equals fun talks about sex with aliens and capitalism while playing Dark Souls. I mean, you're not wrong. That's kind of... that's what you get with me. All goods, yeah. So, we be doing our best to sort things out, but when you've literally got a global audience, it can be tough. So, yeah, because we got 2 time zones in Australia we're dealing with. We got 2 time zones over here that we're dealing with. We got Germany. We got Portugal. It's like, god damn. But yeah, half of this goddamn stream has been waiting. But that's the thing, you know. Sometimes that can't be helped. And so that's where having an active chat comes in, because we can just be sitting and talking, and that keeps the stream at least having some entertainment value in some regard, even if I'm having to just sit here and wait. So. Yeah, it's been 2 years since we heard from Compa.
Yeah.
It kind of bothers me, because we weren't exactly on bad terms or anything, but I think just everything that happened all at once, like with the Discord getting nuked, and then, you know, I think he was going at. Good Lord, you look like shit. I think he was going into. I think he was going into the military out of like financial desperation, and even though I wasn't really targeting him directly with it, I was not exactly quiet about how I feel about the military. So I don't know. You know, it's unfortunate, but... Is that Jesus? That's Jesus. Jesus Christ of Nazareth? Yeah, here's a fucked up thing. Mary was 13 in the Bible.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus, you let yourself go. Of course, I gotta talk like Mr. Texas Preacher Man. Surprise, motherfucker!
Black Knight helm and leggings.
That's my secret dash. I'm always gay. Yoo-hoo!
I forget when I'm allowed to do blood infusions. Like, what cull I actually need to do those.
That was beautiful. You know, I would much rather be in this area than Liurnia because it's just this, but obnoxiously large.
Hello, boyo.
Oh my. Oh no! Dark spirit destroyed. Oh, now who am I gonna give these Triscuits to? Give them to Jesus! Jesus like cricket. Jesus likes what? Yes. Okay, Jesus, whatever you say. Not sure why Jesus is a lobotomized cookie monster, but, you know. What are you gonna do, right? He's a velociraptor in my heart. Or a Utah raptor specifically. Deinonychus. Other various dromaeosaurs. My guy, what is going on? I cooked your crab. Well, now don't I feel silly?
The babies can drop purple moss clumps and blood red moss clumps.
I will have to remember that next time I see a baby outside. Jesus like cookie. Hi.
Come on, bitch. No. Okay, I was gonna try the ladder trick on him.
I've got
But
fireballs
evidently
for days.
that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, nope.
I might as well get it while I'm here, actually.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the fucking thing is gonna be real fun. What are you getting while you're here? Oh,
Just the bonfire.
okay. Ugh, at least put on the untrue white ring or something. bet Jesus gives really weird hand jobs. I mean, look at the size of those holes. The stigmata. The straw poll is down below. Would you let Jesus give you a really weird meaty hand job with his holes? There we go. The holy come. What are you doing? You're not a priest. Get your hands off me. I have this giant magical weapon and a dinky piece of wood can just deflect it. Hi there. I have this giant magical weapon, that's what he said. Whoa, Dash, telling us about your man friend, are you? All right. The man friend is me. Oh my. Oh my. Boom, plot twist of the century. Kerplunk. No hugs from Jesus. Alright, I think that's all of that. One more sweep through, make sure.
Alright, I've got my sorcerer.
Good for you.
You know, one thing that's nice is I would be surprised if we got invaded here because I'm level 84.
Yeah. It's nice having a normal amount of health again. $538. Still not all the way back to normal, but getting there. The nerfing is becoming significantly less of a problem.
Yeah, relatively soon, I'm gonna have my dexterity and luck back to, where I need them to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll just be a matter of, I think I'm gonna go... I'm probably gonna cross-class into, like, pyromancy, so just intelligence and faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that would also get me, like, the option to use, like, a chaos rapier later.
Yeah.
There's... of course, we're kind of done with this little section here leading up to the Crystal Sages, but we still have another section of the Road of Sacrifices to do.
Yeah. So, do you wanna... What do you wanna do?
We're gonna do that other leftover section after I finish collecting things here.
Okay.
You know, I honestly think that this is an NPC, because that same summon sign has been there before.
What is it?
Just some mad phantom PvP summon sign thing in that same spot as before. Why are you sitting at the fog wall?
Why wouldn't I be? Except I'm not.
Oh,
There you are.
it's because of the stream delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps getting, I guess, stuck, quote unquote, maybe, and slowing down.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm on the 2.4.
Yeah, the YouTube one seems to kind of fall out of sync after a while. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, hi! Well, this got interesting. How am I doing on leveling up? I'm 2,140. It's 139 short. Not too bad. Actually, I didn't read that right. Whatever. 21 change short.
So yeah, win or lose, the bonfire is literally right there, so I kind of just want to experiment with this and see if it's an NPC or not. It looks like an NPC.
Okay.
Oh, I think it's the guy in the I'm pretty sure this is the guy that was in the place that you actually get the Mound Maker's Covenant from, and why you can't do the boss there first.
Oh, the Hodrick?
Yeah.
Yep, that's Hodrick. Ow! Well, I, for one, received noteworthy physical distress.
I guess you got a vertebra shackle. It's so dumb that only one player can get that reward.
Did I? No, I still only have 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Then what was the point of summoning him?
Don't know.
It's not like I got a noteworthy amount of souls out of it, even with the mimic head.
Yeah.
I think that's everything in this area, though. I'm pretty sure. So I guess all that's left is the boss.
Yep, pretty much. It feels like we went through it too quick, but we just burned through everything that would normally slow us down, so... The amount of damage, though. Blue. That's purple over there. Yikes. Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
That was amusing. I only got 3,200 souls for that. Okay, let's go level up. Wonder if I can get any decent benefit from attunement at this point.
Ashen one, then I am down. Very well, then take.
Not really. Dex.
I just learned that they reused, like, dialogue from Demon Souls for the Firekeeper.
Yeah.
I only heard, like, let these souls withdraw from their vessel.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. I've heard it so many times. Yeah, so we're going up to Crystal Sage. Yeah, the Crystal Sage bonfire.
Actually, just rewritten a little bit. It's a little different.
Yeah,
But there's some similarities.
yeah.
46 luck. 4 more levels, plus another 5. So... yeah, at level 95, I'll have the dexterity and luck that I want. I just need to figure out when and how I can get a bleed infusion on my fucking katana. So I can run bleed again.
You know what? This stretch is actually single player. So I would have been able to put my sign down before then, if not.
Don't I have to make it to, like, the church first?
Yeah, I think you do. Which is where I... oh, nope. Cathedral of the Deep has a bonfire. Let me warp over there. Cleansing Chapel is the bonfire in the church.
Yeah, but, like, the up through the point where I get to that bonfire, it's single player.
Yeah, it's single player. I just checked. Okay. Well, I'll see you in the church then. And it's down. So yeah. A few more minutes of waiting.
You should look up, I think, the thing with patches to make sure that we don't mess this up.
Oh yeah. Alright, Patches can be found in the Cathedral of the Deep disguised as Sigurd of Katarina. His spawn trigger is to open the main doors on the left of the boss room, reload the area, and then return. You must do this before lighting the bonfire at Rosaria's bedchamber. He will trick you into entering the bridge, which he then will then lower down to the giants. If you meet him again on the other side of that bridge, in front of Rosaria's chamber, he will apologize for tricking you, and if you refuse to forgive him, you'll earn the prostration gesture and a rusted coin. He will then become a vendor in that spot until he moves to Firelink Shrine. Okay, so basically, as long as we don't trigger Rosaria, then we're good.
Well, I can't do anything with Rosaria anyway for like a long ass time because of the Sirius questline.
Mm-hmm. What trying to remember what in particular do you get from her?
I know that the cat ring from her is useless. I don't remember everything.
All right. So yeah, we just do be waiting.
You could create another non-binary joke.
I don't think I'll be waiting that long. Yep. Yep, we are getting actually pretty close to the end here, looking at the time. If you figure we can get the church done in like 20 minutes or less, then that would be ideal, but if not, we can always get one check.
No, I don't think we can.
Yeah, so, might actually not be a bad idea to wrap up now then, because I gotta stop in like 25 minutes. So, yeah, let's do that. We'll wrap up here.
Yeah.
And 3 hours and 24 minutes, not too bad. Yeah, we'll pick this up probably tomorrow. I don't know exactly how early tomorrow, depending on my schedule, or if Dash, if you're up to it, we can certainly do your playthrough some more. We'll take it from there. We'll figure that out tomorrow. And yeah, so all right. Appreciate you guys coming by, and I am going to stop it here, and I'll be over on Element.